All right, I've had quite a few people ask me about my little arcade. I had somebody off of Facebook put this together for me. I've got the riser, the asteroids cabinet. The guy put a control deck that mirrors the Street Fighter layout. Put some plexiglass on top of it. I think this is just the plexiglass for the Street Fighter one, but it is the asteroids cabinet, which I really like. There's a little volume knob thing here on the top. So with the arcade, I mean, it works just like you would think it would. So push buttons, get you your credits, push your start button. You know, it works just like you would think it would be. I'm going to turn the sound off. Around here and back, it looks like it's got the original screen, and there's a RetroPie on there that's got all the goodies on it. The guy did a lot with the buttons in there, it looks like, and I see a couple of speakers. There's obviously that amp that's in there, but all in all, I think it turned out nice. This has got a gazillion games on it, and I think it's just the way it's burnt in here, but hold on, Adam. Adam, let's not use a screwdriver on that. Let's see here. You can exit to the menu, and just to give you an idea of how many things we're talking about. So I've got it here in alphabetical order for all the games. So there's like 18,000 games on here, but you know, we start off with The Simpsons. It'll do a little preview of everything, but it's not just The Simpsons. It's okay, here's every Simpsons Game Boy game ever made. You know, here we have it on the, what is this, like ZX Spectrum and so on and so forth and so on. So you can see there's lots and lots of games on here. You can back out of this, and they have them organized by the different systems they came on. So, okay, if you wanted to look at, and I haven't gone through all of these, and I'm sure that not all of them work, but most do. The only one that I know for sure isn't working that I'm disappointed by is Galaga doesn't work on this. But okay, here's, you know, a bunch of Capcom games. So if you've been hurting to play, what's a good one? Like, of course, there's 50 different versions of Street Fighter for the different systems. TV, here we go. X-Men Children of the Atom, that's a good one. It'll boot up the actual emulation for the game itself. And it takes a minute when you first turn it on, because it goes through the boot up for the actual game itself. But you've got your credit buttons. And it's the actual arcade version here. I'll turn the sound back on. Come on. Here we go. I'm terrible at this. My one complaint on this is you can hear the clicky thing in here. It's an 8-way joystick. But there's like a different clicky for each direction. But anyways, there you go. And I can exit back. And I'm not going to go through the whole list, but just to give you an idea of the systems that are on here. There's a ton of systems. Like here you go. Here's every Atari game ever made. It's got every Super Nintendo, all the, and not just the classic stuff, but it's got everything. But if you go to, here, let me go to the full game list. All 18,065 games on here. It is kind of a pain to find individual games on here, because I mean, even scrolling through, I'm going with the fast scroll version here. You know, you can see it can take a little while to find what you're looking for. So I can see about how people would want to pare this down. But here you go. Here's Tetris. How many different versions of Tetris do we have on here? Let's start at the bottom. Here's the Commodore 64 version of Tetris. You know, let's see what it looked like on the Commodore 64. Yep. If you can remember how to get through here. The hacked version, apparently. I haven't actually tried this one. Hopefully it works. Oop, looks like it will. Wow, emulating an actual Commodore 64. And I don't know how to work this. Here, let me back out of that. Just ignorance on my part. I'm sure there's a way to get it to work. It's like here, Tetris, 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 Tetris. They got the actual arcade version. Actually, a couple of different arcade versions. The NES version. I always like the Game Boy version. Let's see if that works. Should have the classic music. Let's see. Come on. I believe in you, Tetris. Come on. Well, they don't all work perfectly, but... well, I've come up with 2 bad examples. Looks like you only get a portion of the screen on this one. So take that as the, not everything works, but most things do. I tried the arcade version and it worked just fine. Let's try that. No, not that. I'm sure somebody that knows more about RetroPie and how all this stuff works could come up with a better build than this. This is just the one that I happen to have available to me and ready to go. Let's go easy. Yeah, actual arcade version. I remember this. Let's see. But mostly so far with this, I've been playing beat 'em ups and a few other things like that, like The Simpsons, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, stuff like that. But once again, you get the idea. Let's pull up The Simpsons. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wow, so many different versions. Coin Op. So not only do they have the original, they have a whole bunch of different versions of this. Didn't even know they made it for the Game Boy. Let's see. Tecmobile. How about, what did I say a minute ago? The Simpsons. Adventures. I always like The Simpsons as a good beat 'em up. The menu system on this is kind of complicated. I mean, it's easy enough to figure out. My 7-year-old is doing just fine with it. The 5-year-old can't do it. So if you're thinking about little kids with this, keep that in mind. Here we go. But once again, it's awesome to be able to, you know, show this stuff off to the kiddos and let them play around with it. I hooked this up and just left it on The Simpsons for the first day, and my kids played it for an embarrassingly long amount of time. But there you go. Once again, Asteroids cabinet. I'm probably going to get, they make kick plates for these, put a kick plate on that. And I'm kind of limited on space here. I've got my pinball machines here, and I have like that much space to be able to fit an actual arcade cabinet. That's why I chose the mini one here. And this is just on a riser. So if you're unfamiliar with these, cabinet probably weighs 60 pounds. It's not bad. Oops. And I think I unplugged it. But if you got little kids, I mean, you've got it just at their height. But there you go.